All right. So I've had a couple people ask me about the stock market and how it relates to crypto, and where do I think the stock market could end up going in the near term, long term. So just kind of looking at this chart to show you what I'm looking at. Um, as you can see, we're still trading inside this channel that we've had going dating back to 1956. So we popped out of it shortly during that dot com bubble, nudged up against it during the 2008 crisis. Um, but we're trading right inside it. So, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I would not be surprised at all if we just see a V bottom here, and a continuation up, with the Fed's ability to continuously print money and obviously that's pretty much fantasy economics to this point. It doesn't make sense, but at the same time, in the world's current state, um, other countries don't really have a choice. They don't really even have an option. So they're kind of stuck buying dollars because all their debt is owed and paid in dollars and everything like that. So we could see them be able to continue to print. Um, and as you can see, people are like saying we're heading back down now, because we had this big run up. But I mean, to me, it looks like we're just, pulled back and, we're establishing some support on the moving averages. I mean, we've seen this happen over and over and over through dips. So, you come up, touch the moving averages, and just continuation. And, we're seeing that again. In To be honest, this is not something that I just necessarily believe in. If you ask me my honest opinion, I'd say that the market needs to correct. It needs to crash. The stock market does not really make sense at all. I mean, when you look at stuff like Amazon, this is just nuts. It just goes straight up. You know, Amazon is a great company, but they're valued at close to like 1.5 trillion or something like that now, right? So, at what point does this end? Who knows? But if you really zoom out on this, it's crazy. It's like we're on a current trajectory to end up hitting, like, I don't know, draw ourselves out a pretty good line. I mean, what, 25,000 by September 2027? It's nuts, right? It doesn't even make sense. So, I mean, I would expect to see some kind of pullback eventually. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw this continue on to like 10,000, 5,000, 10,000. Would not surprise me over the next few years. I think that the money printing can continue. An unpopular opinion in general, but I think the money printing can definitely continue, and I can see, after that Volcker rule was not lifted, but basically they eased the restrictiveness of it. So banks are going to be able to buy cryptocurrency now and other more risky investments, and you know I think that the banks will continue to gain value because of that. I think the S&P will continue to go up. Um, with all these small and mid-sized businesses potentially going out of business, the large corporations are doing just fine. So I could see the S&P continue to go. Um, Also, one thing to note: what is like the top six companies in the S&P make up 20% of the S&P 500. So this is just crazy, crazy fantasy economics, fantasy finance. But I would not be surprised at all to just see it continue to go. We could see it continue to go into at least into Trump's full term. If he gets reelected, which I don't see why he wouldn't at this point. I know there are 4 years of this. You could see it continue all the way up across the top of this channel, as we saw for in the 50s. We saw it last till 69, 56 to 69, just, continuously bumping up against this top trend line. So who's to say, right? It could continue to do that. We've only had what, three, four extensive bear markets over the last 100 or so years. Great Depression, obviously, but that was a result of a new industry, a new economy. And realistically looking at this, it just had a quick run up, came back down, and then it consolidated and continued up. So if you had just bought the bottom and stayed in, you'd be good. Here we had another 2-year bear market, and then obviously .com, and then 2008. That's it. So we could see more fuel in this before we get another one of these 2-3 year bear markets. So um, that's just my honest opinion right there. Maybe not. Maybe it corrects. It'd probably be good for the market because really it doesn't make sense to just see this crazy continuation up. But I like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. And I think over the next few years, it's going to continue to go. And I think crypto's going to go with it. I think they'll keep the money printer pumping. And I think right along with that, you're going to see money flow into crypto. Now the banks can even buy it. So they're going to have their balance sheets loaded up with crypto and other risky assets. Dollars losing its value. Who cares? We're moving into this new financial system as a whole in digital assets. So I think that that's how the transition is going to play out. And yeah, that's pretty much my take right now on the stock market. Thanks for watching. As always, like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one.